cabbage does not sound very appetizing, but it must have had at least enough nutritional value to keep people alive during the harder times of St. Augustine. The Craqueros were cattle herders back in the 1800s, and they used whips to help herd the cattle and clear brush out of their path. So the Spanish named them El Craqueros for the sounds of their whips, which they say could be heard as far as a mile away. Of course, we call those guys the Florida Crackers. Coming up on our right-hand side here in a moment, you're going to see a little cemetery. That is the Huguenot Cemetery. And that's where all the Protestants and other non-Catholics would have been buried in the 17 and 1800s. You had to be Catholic to be buried inside the city walls back in those days. And this little graveyard would have been used heavily during the 1821 yellow fever outbreak, where St. Augustine lost about a third of its population. If you notice, there's only about 100 tombstones here, but there are about 2,000 bodies in that little graveyard. During the yellow fever outbreak, they had to get rid of bodies pretty fast, so they would put up 20 to 25 per grave. They say that the last person to go in would get their name on the headstone. Up ahead on the left-hand side, this old wooden building that you see is the Potter's Wax Museum, America's first wax museum and the second largest in the world at the time it was built. They have about 160 figures in there. Some of them are the originals from when it was first opened. It was once the home of T.W. Speisinger's old drugstore. Mr. Speisinger was the pharmacist back in the late 1800s, and that man had one cure for everything. That was spring water, grain alcohol, mixed with a lot of opium. I doubt if that cured anyone of anything, but it sure made them forget they were sick for a few days. At the back of this parking lot we're entering right now, you're going to see the Taliban Cemetery. That is the oldest Catholic cemetery in North America. It's also one of the most haunted places in the city of St. Augustine. You can find out everything you need to know about that cemetery on our Ghosted Gravestones tour, which takes you around town in the evenings and gives you St. Augustine's history with a little spookier twist on it. They say you might even see some ghosts running around there. Please remain seated, everyone, until I bring the trolley to a complete stop and ring the bell, indicating that it is safe to exit. And please exit backwards as if stepping down a ladder, using your uprights and handholds for extra support. So are you guys getting off here? Okay.
Yes.
It's taken in battle and has only changed hands by means of treaty. And up ahead on the right-hand side, you're going to see the Pirate and Treasure Museum, which has over 600 authentic pirate artifacts, including Captain Kidd's original treasure chest. And just past it on the right-hand side is the Colonial Experience, which is 2 acres of living history, where you can climb that 35-foot watchtower, see an old ship's hull, and watch a blacksmith perform work the way they would have done it about 150 to 200 years ago. So this is going to be stop number 5, the Colonial Order. Please remain seated, everyone, until the trolley comes to a complete stop and you can hear the bell. Always exit backwards as if stepping down a ladder, using your upright handholds for additional support. With the schoolhouse here, as well as the St. Podios Greek Orthodox Shrine. Anything that you could possibly want or need in the city of St. Augustine can be found right there to your right on St. George Street. Please remain seated, everyone, until I bring the trolley to a complete stop and ring the bell, indicating that it is safe to exit. Please exit backwards as if stepping down a ladder, using your uprights and handholds for additional support.
We wait on this side or that side?
She's necklace.
project in the 1930s. So 90 years, but still relatively new construction right here. Although, if you step inside, again, this is maintained by the University of Florida and the state of Florida. It is a free exhibit between 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock each day. You can step inside and you can see some of the original coquina components of the governor's house. This is Cordova Street. Keep coming back to Cordova. Kind of the tale of two cities. Got Spanish St. Augustine off to our left. Henry Flagler's Bottle Land Trust off to our right-hand side. This is once the location of the Maria Sanchez Creek, the natural western border for colonial St. Augustine, which Henry Flagler would fill in. So we got some more land to build upon. To build places like the Ponce de Leon and the Alcazar Hotel. That did not sit well. A number of locals, including Isaac Crumps, owned the San Marco Hotel. In fact, after these hotels went up, the San Marco would be advertised being built on native soil to separate him from Flagler operations as much as possible. And now on to our right-hand side is Trinity Episcopal Parish, the oldest Protestant church in the state of Florida, established in 1821 when Florida became a U.S. territory and could exercise the freedom of religion, or then this was Spanish Catholic territory. The Spanish Hospital is down Adelaide Street off to our right-hand side, what's known as the Street of the Royal Hospital. It is now a museum. We can learn what medical care entailed during colonial times.
The last one's 4:30, so.
Now you would think after 456 years we would have found everything by now. Still finding artifacts today. St. Augustine Historical Society has logged over 1 million items found in and around St. Augustine. Not all on land, some in the bay, some in the ocean, some in between. Found a shipwreck on the beach last year around this time, and I think they're still looking at it a year later. The plan is, once all the data has been collected, they will rebury the shipwreck where it lies. Not every artifact can be removed from the property where it is discovered, and this happens to be one of those. The construction up to the left-hand side, they're in the process of rebuilding the Santa Maria restaurant. Actually, it's going to be called the Wharf, so it's going to be a little bit different. If you've been here before, seen postcards of St. Augustine. It's usually highlighted the restaurant over the waters of Matanzas Bay. Finally, after whatever that is, 130, 140 years, it finally met its demise due to erosion. So they destroyed the underpinnings, the pilings last year, and are now in the process of rebuilding a structure right there. And it is our hope that the locals, it's our hope that the restaurant will be called the Santa Maria to kind of hold on to some of that legacy right there. We're waiting to find out, actually. On the other side of the water is Anastasia Island and the St. Augustine Lighthouse, 165 feet tall. It can be seen over 25 miles out to sea on a clear night when the candle is lit. Yes, they offer tours of the lighthouse throughout the day and on weekends, also during the evening hours. Breathtaking views up top after a breathtaking climb up 219 steps. And now to our left, St. Francis Barracks, Franciscan monastery and convent, served as barracks for the British and the Spanish military, and for the last 100 years the headquarters for the Florida National Guard. And on the right-hand side is Florida's oldest house, Gonzales Alvarez, built 1702, now maintained by the St. Augustine Historical Society. Tours starts at a green arched doorway ahead and to our right-hand side. If you'd like to visit, use the handholds uprights, climb down to the street, then onto the sidewalk. Watch your... Now the corner wall headed to our right-hand side, soon to be on our left-hand side, is a series of coquina blocks. I mentioned coquina a couple of times already during today's tour. Coquina literally translates to little shell. Fossilized seashell, sand, limestone, a few of the minerals compressed under its own weight on Anastasia Island. Now, those seashells can still be quite sharp. Be careful around coquina. See it all over town, especially at the fort, the Castillo De San Marcos. Spain was very fortunate to have a stone like that to work with here in St. Augustine. They are familiar working with a similar stone in Puerto Rico. Castillo del Moro down in Puerto Rico is built using a stone much like coquina, sometimes referred to as a soft stone. Really nothing soft about it. It's a tough stone, it's got some sharp edges, but it does absorb impacts very well. It's not uncommon after an attack to find cannonballs resting at the base of these buildings or embedded in the walls. But no chips, no cracks, no collapses, no significant damage done. In fact, one of our museums here in town has a reproduction. Well, they have the original. The one that is on display is a reproduction of a page out of a British ship's log where the commander wrote, "The fort swallowed the cannonballs." I think you've got your best ships, your best soldiers, your best weapons, and you're firing cannonball after cannonball against the city, and each one is unsuccessful in its mission of destroying St. Augustine. Now, coquina is also a porous stone. Water can pass relatively easily, even though cannonballs cannot. When you consider that moisture is what contributes to deterioration of wood and stone structures, having a porous stone like coquina means you get houses like these, as well as the Castillo De San Marcos stand for well over 300 years. Now, as we return to the bayfront, got a bit of a breeze right here. If you have any loose hats, loose belongings, papers, goods, souvenirs, that sort of thing, just put a hand on them for right now. I'm doing the same right up here in the front row of the first car. Things should settle down, so get the windshield in the right spot. That black and gold ship in the middle of the channel off to our right-hand side, that is the pirate ship, the Black Raven. I believe their mission is to find and capture the pirate Blackbeard, if I'm not mistaken. Might have seen Queen Anne's Revenge out there at some point in 1927 by the Exchange Bank, the Treasury building, clearly taller than anything around, even taller than the bell tower of the Catholic Cathedral Basilica. City leaders concerned too many towers might overshadow the historic character of the 2- and 3-story buildings, 1700s, 1800s. So the city passed an ordinance still on the books this day, limiting the height of any new structures to only 35 feet. Ever since then, the Exchange Bank Tower, the Treasury building, has been known as St. Augustine's skyscraper. Now there's too many places around St. Augustine where you can build new structures. Most of the land is spoken for with the cemeteries, streets, plaza. Although a few years ago, Hilton opened one of their trademark high-rise hotels in St. Augustine. So he said, nope, got to keep it under 35 feet. So they did. Not only did they keep their hotel under 35 feet high, but they also built the Hilton Hotel to resemble the historic houses and other structures in this area. To be continued. St. Augustine's narrowest street. At the base, this yellow house on the left-hand side. The green balcony right here, underneath the green balcony, is Treasury Street. Blink and you miss it. There it goes. Treasury Street was made narrow to support or to protect those removing monies between the treasure ships in the bay off to our right-hand side and the Treasury at the center of town off to our left-hand side. And things have changed over several hundred years, but originally there were no doorways, there were no windows, there were no openings or any type of passage in between these buildings to also make sure that nobody was ambushed by jumping out of one of those windows or doorways or what have you. The body of water off to our right-hand side is Matanzas Bay. Matanzas, meaning massacre or slaughter, the means by which Spain removed the French settlement Fort Caroline in 1565. For thousands of years, Indians called the same body of water River of Dolphin or River of Dancing Dolphin for the positive dolphin, and still call that body of water home. And straight ahead of us is the Castillo De San Marcos, the oldest fort in the continental United States, never captured, never collapsed, partly due to the strength of that coquina, also the marksmanship of the soldiers, meaning the cannons on the roof of the fort. And the gun deck is accessible. You can step up top and see some people taking pictures on the roof of the fort right now. Stick with me. Unfortunately, for some strange, odd, crazy, weird reason, people see a trolley and go, oh, I'm going to just drive past the trolley. If you're out on the running boards. That's not a good day for you. That's not a good day for me. It's not a good day for them. So we're just kind of get around the corner so I can kind of position us to in the safest way possible if you like to visit the fort. As you can see, sometimes people don't ever get inside the structure. They've got historic markers all around the building. You have to sit on the seawall and watch the boats go by. Keep an eye out for dolphins. Yes, this is still the Bay of Dolphins off to our right-hand side. You can check out some of the defensive components of the Castillo from the outside, but there is a lot to see on the inside. If you've ever been to a national park, national monument, these park rangers are top-notch. Very entertaining, very informative. If you like to spend some time here, wait for the bell. Use the handholds uprights. Climb down to the parking lot onto the sidewalk. Watch your step as you go. This is stop number 17, Castillo De San Marcos.
And you need to stick and put it down here so you can sit down and have it. So you have two choices to go. And then after you got the closed doors, you get the wood and get it backwards, and you take the curves out. And then you have to take them out and run through the windows and squeeze the water. Reach up in the shelves and stuff in the house. There's quite a unique little invention that somebody come up with back in the 1800s anyway. This is unusual. This is another piece that this is right at the turn of the century, and like orange slices like this or any kind of fruit